Welcome in, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning into another episode here brought to you by Turo Johnson Consulting. We've got a great show for you on today. As always, we're going to be talking to one of our newest clients and talking about the experiences that they're having in the life insurance industry and what's going on with what's been going on since they've been with AJC. Let's hop into it. All right, everyone. Thanks so much once again for being here with us today. This is going to be amazing. We have with us here today, we have Bry, and I'm not even going to try and pronounce the last name because I know I'm going to just mess it all up with that, but pronounce your last name. I should have asked you that one. Your last name for us there, Bry.
Not a problem, not a problem. Joubert.
Joubert,
French,
okay.
Yes, sir. French little Cajun there.
Yeah, all right. Got that little Cajun thing going on there. But man, thanks so much for being on the episode with us today. Really excited about talking with you, man. Definitely appreciate it.
And not a problem, not a problem. Thank you for having me.
You are more than welcome. Well, Bri, tell us, how long have you been in the insurance industry? When did this all get started for you?
I've been in the insurance industry now anywhere between 8 to 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Started off as an adjuster, transitioned over to the property and casualty side, and then seen a real just need for within the life insurance industry itself, right? Especially with everything that's happened and transpired with the COVID-19 virus. So it, in itself, it made sense because there's a lot of overhead with property and casualty, whereas with life insurance, it's pretty straightforward. You don't have to worry about, paying a claim unless someone, should expire, right?
Yeah.
Or if they decide to take out, depending on what type of policy it is, if they decide to take out money early to help for a sickness or something along those lines. But it's pretty straightforward with life insurance. It's a really, really exciting industry to be in. I watched one of your videos one time. I think you mentioned something about Zig Ziglar said that if you want to be wealthy, right, you need to be in life insurance essentially, and that's true.
Yeah, it's. Do you have like a main focus that you have with, the life insurance sales that you do, or is it just kind of across the board between like final expense, mortgage protection, term? Like, what's been your main focus over the past couple of years?
So for me, I'm big on cross sell. That's how I was trained. That's how I was groomed. So across the board, it's going to be everything, right? Because at the end of the day, you want to always get what's going to be in the best the customer's interest, right?
Mm-hmm.
They may want one thing, but sometimes after explaining things and them explaining their situation to you, they may need another, right? So it just depends on the situation.
Have you been doing like virtual sales all along, or did you just kind of start virtual sales once you came aboard with AJC?
So my background was with both virtual and more so, I guess, telesales.
Mm-hmm.
So inbound and outbound, starting off with Liberty Mutual, right? So when I jumped into this, my upline, Adam Marquis, he mentioned this being a pretty good opportunity based off what I had talked to him about, wanting to have things automated, not, I think they call it road warriors, where you get on the road and drive everywhere. And, let's to be honest with everybody, that's not my cup of tea. I don't want to spend gas, time, money, and man, it's a big risk when you do that, honestly, because sometimes people are not at appointments.
No, you're kidding.
The gas that it takes to drive from one destination to another, and I'm in the state of Texas, so you drive 6 hours in any direction, you're still in the state of Texas.
Yeah. Man, oh man. Well, what kind of was happening like along the lines of like how you were running your business as far as how you were going about acquiring clients, and particularly for life insurance before you came to AJC? What did that look like for you over the past couple of years as far as client acquisition goes?
Well, I would assume just like anybody, right? Warm family, warm market, right?
Mm-hmm.
You talk to family, friends, you purchase leads, you try to go to different events or whatnot, right? And so for me, that's just something that, to be honest with you, like I said, I just didn't want to have to deal with because I came from the side of insurance where working within, like I said, an organization like Liberty Mutual, 75 Fortune company at the time. Everything is either inbound being given to us, right, or as far as the outbound leads, they're being sent to us through a CRM like Salesforce or whatnot, right? Um, and so when you start your own business and you're trying to do this yourself, right, you don't have that backing from that big corporation any longer. So
Yeah.
um, to find this information out, and believe it or not, I had kind of researched Arturo Johnson Consulting for a while. Believe it or not, it just kind of came as confirmation for me when my manager Adam Marquis mentioned it to me, talked to me about it. I said, okay, well, you know what? I've actually been watching a lot of these videos on my Facebook page and just never pulled the trigger.
Yeah, it's funny. I just spoke with Adam earlier today, working on some stuff with him. Real nice guy with that. What kind of, I mean, knowing that you came from that quote unquote corporate background and were basically having things handed to you,
Hmm.
what was even the appeal to come on this side?
Well, so I can tell you right now, for me, it's always money, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I was in a position where I was writing um, $250,000, $300,000 a month in written premium, and then when you look at the amount of commission made off of, right, so I had a base salary, and then commission on top of that base salary, but my commission off of uh, that amount would be like maybe 2-3%. So maybe averaging
Whoa.
$5,000 or $6,000 a month. Which don't get me wrong, a lot of people say, man,
Okay.
that's good money. Well, yes and no, right? I had a $50,000 base salary, right, plus commission on top of that. So it sounds good, right? But in the grand scheme of things, you're working to make money for somebody else,
Yeah.
whereas and you don't see any return on that premium, right? You got to do it all over next month,
Mm-hmm.
so no residuals or anything.
Absolutely. So it just kind of made fiscal sense when you kind of ran the numbers for yourself, to kind of make that switch and that jump.
Hmm.
What was, I mean, before, I mean, you just recently came on board with AJC. What was like,
Yeah.
besides Adam kind of suggesting it, but what was the thing that kind of solidified it for you that, you know what, I need to stop what I'm doing and I need to do this?
So the client acquisition, the way AJC has incorporated that with you know social media as far as modern day technology, right?
Hmm.
Um, so to me, right, if I can have a customer who actually physically wants to talk to me versus me trying to spark up a conversation, and don't get me wrong, there's sales techniques behind everything, right?
Sure.
But the conversation at this point is a lot easier because at this point it's just my job to tell you what you need and what we need to do to make this work for you, right? That's where to me it made sense because with Arturo Johnson's consulting agency, right? Um, I invested the money, and I've been with the company now or the program now less than a week. Well, let me see. So I officially launched last week on Tuesday, right?
Okay.
And that Tuesday, so it was I think it was like Monday night at 10 o'clock, but I'm gonna just say Tuesday morning. So Tuesday morning, I had two time frames scheduled on my calendar for two different prospects.
Hmm.
Right. Sold the first prospect. Ended up making roughly about $5,000 in annual premium off of that.
Hmm.
Just in 1 week. So just there. And again, I work part time, so for me it made total sense because I don't have the time frame just like everybody. Just for now until I, fully integrate into a full time position. I don't have the time frame to drive here, drive there. So to me, it was a blessing in disguise for this system or this application that Arturo set in place.
So, I mean, you were able to get an appointment fully booked on your calendar and basically sell it over the phone. I mean,
Hmm.
sitting there in your skull cap or whatever, not having to put on the suit and tie,
Right on.
or whatever, just kind of get it done. And it seems like in our industry, I mean, it's been around for so long now, but just the old ways of doing things seem to be so ingrained, right? You're supposed to get in your car. You're supposed to be a road warrior, because that's the only way we've ever been taught to do it. But what we really understand now is that with technology and the way that we're able to do things, even like us doing this interview call right now,
Yeah.
it's just real simple to be able to hop on the phone or hop on Zoom or whatever and just get it done. I mean, when I look at my own life, I really don't want anybody coming out to my house to sell me something. I really don't.
I
It's,
agree.
it's like, what is it? How much does it cost? Okay, click the button. We live in the Amazon generation now, right? It's just one click buy. You just you want to go on
I
there
literally have an Amazon package that comes to my door every single day.
every
I
day.
mean, this is
Yeah. Now, I mean, this time of year, since for the past month and a half, it's like every day,
hmm
Amazon's coming. But so, I mean, just in the past less than a week, being able to generate over $5,000 in AP, how do you see this working out for you in the future? What does that look like to you?
Um, well, I'm excited. Just to be completely upfront with you, right? I'm excited
Mm-hmm.
because for me, and it's a small investment, right? With this particular company, it's a very small investment to get the return that I have already received within the week. You know, just for future, right? When I look at the future, because my goal, and I'll tell you right now, anything that I do business in, right, it
Mm-hmm.
is not to make the minimum or the minute. It irks my nerves, and I can say this to a T. I don't want to just make $10,000 a month, or I don't want to
Right.
just make. I'm looking at making, 100 figures plus every
Right.
single month. I know that may take a little bit of time, but with this right here, it's easily scalable. Because I mean, when you're essentially being given a customer, and the customer's put in front of you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're telling you what they want. I mean, how can you not give them what they want and just make it? It's very simple at this point. I mean,
Yeah.
it's there's a term I like to use. I don't know if I should say it, but my uncle used to always say, "Keep it stupid simple," right?
Yeah.
Don't make things too difficult for anybody. So it's like I said, it's pretty simple. So I'm excited. I definitely see this going far in the future, right? Um, I'm excited to talk to Arturo and see what else he has in the pipeline coming up. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, you said you kind of break this down for me because you said you've been watching videos for a while, before
hmm
Adam. How long is that? How long had that been where you had actually, been seeing what we have out there?
let's see. Because I started with my particular company now, or as far as life insurance, right back in August, or the company I'm with back in August,
Okay.
I had been watching them probably a good 3 to 4 months prior to that. So since May of this year.
Okay.
Um, it's kind of like a seed being planted, right? That seed
Yeah.
may not take root right here and now, right? But eventually, right? Because you water enough, kind of get saturated, right?
Yeah.
It starts to take effect and starts to grow. So, for me, right? Like I said, I watch the videos, and I think everything has a time in the season, right? It might have not been that time for me right then and there, and not because
Mm.
of anything other than, hey, there was a lot of other things going on in life, but when I decided to make that that decision, and make that step out on, on faith, right?
Yeah.
Because I think we live in a day and age too, where even though we have social media, a lot of people sometimes don't know whether how good is this, how who do they
Yeah.
know that this is working for, and I tell people all the time, listen, I'd rather take a chance on something and it doesn't work because I'll learn from my mistake and my failure right there,
Oh,
right?
always.
Um, then not to take it at all. And then guess what? I'm still doing the same old
Yeah.
antiquated way of doing things. So because again, you mentioned it earlier, the old way of doing things is just to me is antiquated, right?
Yeah.
I'm a little bit younger. I'm 33 years old, so
Hmm.
I live in a day and age where, hey, listen, I need to be doing everything as much as I possibly can on a computer.
Yeah. I hear you on that one. Well, I mean, you watched, basically the predominant part of this year already, a bunch of
hmm
different videos that we've had, out there, and then you finally decided to pull the trigger a couple of weeks ago. What would you say
hmm
to that agent that is now watching you in one of these videos now that is trying to make that decision for themselves?
I mean, make the decision. Have confidence in yourself. If you're just really tired and struggling with what you're doing right now, and when I say struggling, right, just the whole dialing, smiling dial, right, trying to get people, trying to set up appointments, doing all the driving. Listen, or whether you have success at what you're doing right now, right, this is still the best way to do things, honestly, because this actually takes that time that you would put towards those different parts of your business that you have to that are dealing with acquiring customers, right, or just acquiring leads, and takes that out of it and simplifies it to where now all you have to do is really focus on the closing and the sales portion of it. I mean, so it's a no brainer. I mean, if you're having time or problems, I guess I should say, struggling with your decision, just make the decision. I'm a regular person. Anybody who knows me, I'm very straightforward and blunt, right? Just make a decision. Do it.
All right. Well, look, Brian, I definitely appreciate you for coming on, sharing your story with us, and just your perspective on not only life insurance industry, but also with your experience with AJC. I just want to tell you, I appreciate your time, man. Definitely thank you for coming on with me today.
Hey, thank y'all so much for having me. I appreciate it.
And we want to thank you, the listening and watching audience. Make sure there are going to be some links around this video. Go ahead and click those links, and you can have a conversation with us in regards to what it is that we can do for you, and if this is even going to be something that is going to work for you. So until next time, we'll see you on the next episode. You take care.